a mountain move when you believe. Faith can make a mountain move when you believe. Woo. Don't you know that you can change a life when you believe? Don't you know that you can change a life when you believe in yourself?
When you believe
in yourself,
you believe
in yourself,
when you believe
in yourself.
when you believe.
Gonna make a miracle when you believe.
Gonna make a miracle.
Gonna make a miracle when you believe.
Gonna make a miracle.
Everything you want, you got. When you believe, you want it, you got it. I said everything you want, you got. When you believe
You want it, you got it.
in yourself,
When you believe
in yourself,
when you believe
in yourself,
when you believe
in yourself.
when you believe.
Well, I believe in me, so I believe in you. Since we believe in each other, there ain't nothing we can't do. Nah, 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 oh, oh. We can make a miracle, make a miracle. 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 Thank you.
Wow, like Jeff said, you get to follow that. Glad to see everybody here. I was afraid people would melt during the week and not show up. It was kind of really good to feel the cooler weather. So welcome everyone to Unity Spiritual Center in Spokane. Where our mission statement is transforming lives and inspiring people to make a positive difference in our world. My name is Karen Dunmore, and I am so thrilled to be your platform assistant this morning. If everyone could please take a moment and silence your cell phones, it would be very much appreciated, and I just realized I didn't do mine. As always, we want to begin our time together by sharing our opening affirmation. There is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God the Good. Together? There is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God the Good. This is Unity's foundation principle: one presence, one power, one life, living in, through, and as each one of us. This morning we will be hearing from transformational speaker Jeff Tawney and his message titled, We the People, in order to form a more perfect union. Jeff will also be leading today's meditation. And now here is Al Koningsfeld with some news you can use.
Thank you all. Happy 4th. I start out with some rather unfortunate news, especially for those of us who have been here a long time and have known these people well. We have fairly recently lost several members of our longtime congregation. Mary Ladwig passed away. Of course, she's been fighting for a long time, but she has been such a central part of the children's program here for forever. And of course, her husband Doug sat in Caleb's spot for years and years and years. Dan Lapke. Most of you know the Lapkes from the fact that she's been on the board forever and handled the kids' programs and everything. And Dan, once again, is a longtime member who just recently succumbed. And then Gretchen George, I think I had mentioned this earlier. Gretchen was one of the founding members of our chaplain program. And I personally took her very much as a mentor, and she meant a great deal to me. So this is one of those first unfortunate duties that I have, is to spread the news, because we have not been here and close as we should have been. So if you would just take a moment and remember these people as the shining lights that they were and are. All right, on to more mundane business, the summer Zoom book series with Reverend David. They took a little break, but they are back on the 14th. We are continuing the Wednesday Summer Zoom Books series with a new book entitled Heart-Minded, How to Hold Yourselves and Others in Love by Sarah Blondin. When we turn towards our hearts, we arrive like a bolt of lightning in the present moment, and all arguments against ourselves and life go quiet. This moment happens when we light up life from within, ignited by a force we had no idea was there. No matter where you are, no matter what you are doing, you can touch this place in yourself and feel free and alive. Join Reverend David for this meditative journey towards mindfulness with plenty to talk about and practice. Email, there it is, on the board to join. Next Sunday, July 11th, we have Reverend David McClure at the 9 a.m. for our Spiritual Journeys meditation. He will be doing Love Notes from the Universe. And then at 10, we will be hearing from Hank, just in the back there, and his message titled, Golden Age on Earth. It's a mission-centric world. On the 18th at 9 a.m., his wife Joan will be leading the Loving Kindness meditation with the circlets. And at 10 a.m., Reverend David McClure will be our transformational speaker with his message, Don't get even, get odd. And finally, there's coffee in the prayer garden after services. There is one other little thing that I need to mention. This last Wednesday, I led an experiment. We decided that we would see what it was like to run a group based not on a book, but rather on a video. And because there's so much material out there on the internet, so much great stuff that people want to delve into. And it turned out to be very much a success. It has turned out to be much easier than I expected. The response was quite good, and the discussion group was wonderful. Even though it was rather small and turned out to be half non-Unity people, it really worked. So I am throwing out a challenge. Now, Jeff Tawney's already taken me up on this, but if there is some message like that one coming through that you think is really important, like that one seems to think, that you would love to have a discussion about, come and see me, email me, text me, tell me what you'd like to do, and I will help you to get the wheels moving and to set everything up. So all you have to do is come up with the idea, and I will help you actually make it a real honest-to-goodness group. So that's my last announcement. Happy 4th. And I'm going to pass this off to, and I don't have the schedule, so whatever's next.
Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Everything I've ever done, everything I've ever seen, everything I've lost or won, everything I've ever dreamed has brought me here to the present moment, here to a new beginning here. And I'm seeing life so clearly now. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. 'Cause here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Get ready, my soul.
Good morning. So first off, I need to apologize. I know I've kind of developed a reputation for talking too much. I've gone a little long a couple of times. You know, I was sharing with Karen this morning that, you know, you get all this information, all this download, and all this stuff you want to share. And I'm very passionate about the things that I learn, and I want to share with other people and all that. And so I want to share it. And it's more information than probably people want to hear. I don't know. But anyways, I want to apologize. I promise I'm not going to go long today. I almost jokingly wore a camelback just to kind of like, just so I'd have my water on the run to make sure, but I didn't do that. But anyways, thank you. I have to tell you, this talk has probably been the most challenging one I have ever had. I committed to talking about this subject about a month and a half ago. I knew this was the direction I wanted to go, and it kind of comes under my banner of everything is spiritual. And I guess, lack of better terms, it's my mission, it's my shtick, that I want to see us get along. I want to see us come together as a community and forget about all the things that separate us. And so, if you've noticed, kind of in the series, I guess, my first message, my second message, and now this message, there's a pattern to it. And the pattern is going along this mission of what I want to do in my life and the difference that I want to make in my life. But this has been a challenge, because every day as I go out about life, something happens and it causes me like, oh, maybe this, maybe that. Because I look at these experiences, they're all part of lessons that we learn and that we want to impart or share with other people. The other difficult thing about this message, especially, it's a message of independence on Independence Day, when you get into some of these topics, they can become political. And politics, this is my own personal belief, politics is like honey. At first, it's a good idea, and a little bit of it tastes good, but the more you use it, the more the stickiness gets over and contaminates other things, and you realize, like, why can't I just keep the honey in the jar and instead allowing it to pollute and contaminate all the other things? So I promise I'm not going to get political, but just know that that's the fine line that you kind of have to dance on. I got the clicker here. So the preamble to the Declaration of Independence and the preamble to the Constitution of the United States are very important pieces to the documentation. A preamble is an introductory statement, preface, introduction, the introductory part of a statute, a deed, or like stating the reasons or the intent of what follows, a preliminary or introductory fact of circumstances. Little known fact about me is at one point in my life, I was a professional ice hockey official. And I traveled, I did amateur games, I did collegiate games, and I did pro games. And in the course of that, you learn about the rules. And it's not so much the rule itself, you learn about what the intent of the rule is. That's more important than anything than the rule. And I can't tell you how many times a player would come out and go, hey, he slashed me, or he hooked me, or he tripped me. And then I'd have to say, well, technically, he did. But if you look at the intent of the rule, the spirit of the rule, I can't call that a trip. I can't call that interference. And then I would explain to him and try to use it as an educational moment. But in the course of a heated game and everything, that all goes by the wayside. Nobody cares about that. They just want to know why you called it on this guy and you didn't on that guy. But that was kind of my, I don't want to say my training and the way that I've kind of come to develop a look at things. But when you look at the preamble to the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they set the stage for what the rest of it has to say, right? So, for instance, in the Declaration of Independence, it says, when in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with one another, and to assume amount the powers of earth, the separate and equal station to which laws of nature and nature's laws, and then a decent respect to the opinions. I'm going to keep moving forward here. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, I just want to spend a little time. This is not a history lesson, but I just want to spend a little time because I believe in this day we are so focused on the other stuff that technically can be true, that we completely miss the opportunity to understand the spirit of in which it was created. If we look at what Jefferson said, he listed all men are created equal. Men are endowed by their Creator with inalienable rights. Among the rights of the men, that men have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Governments are created to secure those rights, etc., etc. What Jefferson was trying to say was there was a reason why we're going to declare our independence. And that declaration, this is part of my process here, I got stuck on the word declaration, and I had a whole series of talk about declaration. And at 3 o'clock this morning, I got on the back of my head said, it's not about the declaration, it's about the preamble, it's about the intent. And then the rest of this kind of came together. But anyways, the purpose of the declaration was, I mean, you had the preamble, but then the whole purpose of the declaration was to unite the people, because you had 13 separate colonies that all wanted their separateness, and they had a lot of things that divided them. But the whole purpose of the declaration was to unify them so that they could go before the king in Britain and say, we want out, right? So they didn't get caught up in what one state wanted over, or what one colony wanted over another colony or another colony. They just said, this one thing we have in common. Can you think back in recent times when we had one thing that united this country? One thing. September 11th. Pretty much everybody was in agreement what was going to happen after September 11th. That was probably the last time we were really united. Again, all that to say that it's interesting that we need an enemy in order to be united. We need something to fight against in order to love one another. Isn't that ironic? Like, why can't it be something different? Okay. The Constitution, the most famous preamble of all. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America. That was 11 years after the Declaration of Independence. Interesting is, when you break it down, we is me, the people is you, and to form a more perfect union is us. It's my responsibility to be part of the we. It's your right, your responsibility to be part of the people. And when we do our parts, we come together as a union, and together we're stronger. Again, kind of trembling on some political issues here. I'm not going to go into all the different things that divided the colonies, because that could be debated. But what I do want to talk about is I want to talk about what divides us. I want to spend just a little bit of time on this. The first thing, race. White, black, Hispanic. The next thing is religion. Christianity, Muslim, Hindu, Buddhism. Well, there's question as to whether Buddhism is actually a religion, but I'm going to put it in there because there's a lot of people that believe that Buddhism is a religion. Then you could divide and say, well, there's different types of Christianity. There's Baptist, there's Presbyterian, there's Lutheran, Catholic. You've got all these things, again, are all things that divide us. I'm not going to say they have the potential to divide us, because they do divide us. The next thing is country of origin. Where are you from? United States. Mexico. Oh, you're from one of the eastern countries. Whatever, right? Another thing that divides us, foods. I laugh at this, but it is a division. I have my tribe, my spirit group. I think there's two of us that's a meat eater. And then we have the vegetarians, and we have our vegans, and we have everybody, but we're all separate. But we don't let it divide us. We look for ways that we can have foods together, right? But it is a division, because you do have these people that, like, I can't associate with people that eat meat, or I can't associate with people that are vegetarians. They're all crazy, blah, 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 whatever. Another thing that's divided is climate change, global warming. We have people that believe in the science. We have people that don't believe in the science. The irony of the whole thing is this country, or this world, has been melting for thousands of years. Really, when you boil down to it, is who's responsible? Everybody thinks if we accept that we are responsible for it, then we got to, make a change to it. But the fact of the matter is, the earth has been warming. The last thing, and this, I even saw this as recently as last week. Well, I saw it the other day, but the last thing is health crisis. Pandemic. Vaccinated, not vaccinated. Right? It's not fair, but the fact of the matter is we have to be respectful, right? And it's really not about the things that divide us. It's about the things that unite us. Right? It's about those of us that have not been vaccinated having respect for those that have been vaccinated, or having... I used to tell people my son was autoimmune compromised, and I would get questions when I'd go out, and why are you wearing a mask, and especially when I went into the other state. And I would just tell people, hey, my son is autoimmune compromised. If he gets this, it could almost kill him. Don't know that it will, but he has the potential because of what he's been through. Then people are, okay, I understand. Again, I don't want to make this about politics. I just want to make a point that we have a lot of things in our country, in our world, in our community, in our tribes that have the potential and will divide us. So, what can unite us? What can unite us? Values. My last talk, I talked about values, and that was purposeful. Our values, as I said in the last talk, are things that establish a position. I want to read something to you. We have been doing, in my little spirit group, we've been doing this book by Matthew McConaughey. If at the very least, just get the audio book and listen to it. It's extremely entertaining. But anyways, in the book, Matthew says, I'm going to tell a couple of stories here. I have seen many tribes in the deserts of northern Africa who with 9 children and no electricity have more joy, love, humor, laughter than the majority of the most materialistic, rich people I've ever met. We have, I'm sorry here, let me just do this. Come on. Yeah. It's... Okay, I'm going to keep reading. We have the choice to love, befriend, recruit, call to arms, associate, and support who we believe in, and more importantly, who we believe believes in us. I think that's what we all want to believe in and be believed in. We all must earn belief in ourselves first, then for each other. Then he goes on to say, travel and humanity have been my greatest educators. They have helped me understand the common denominator of mankind, values. Engage with yourself, then engage with the world. Values, travel. There it is. It's interesting that if we can appreciate one another's values, it doesn't mean you have to agree with it, but if you can appreciate it, right? If I can appreciate somebody in my tribe's value of health and how they view food, well, their value of health isn't any different than my value of kindness or my value of something else, right? So if I want to embrace and appreciate that value in myself, I also have to be respectful and embrace that value in them, right? It is something that makes us different, but it is something that can unite us. Another story from Matthew. This was really a good one here. He was traveling, and he says, I was finishing dinner on the veranda at the hotel when a pretty young lady about 25 years of age came strolling through, having a solicitous look at each of the table full of males. It was obvious She was a lady of the night and was trolling for business. "Oh, this is not good," said Ali. "This is a Muslim woman, and this is not the Muslim way. You do not go and sell your body with it. It's disgraceful. She should not be doing this." Well, Amado countered, "It is not for any of us to judge someone should or should not be doing. We don't know her particular circumstances. What she does or does not is not for us to say." The two men went back and forth in this conversation, which grew increasingly animated, passionate, and loud. What appeared to me to be an argument. I interjected at the first pause in the discussion. "I agree with Ali. It is not what she should be doing. She is young and has her health. She should be putting out more effort to have a respectable job than choosing prostitution at her young age and being an able age. I believe Ali is right. I think just then Ali, the guy whose side I was agreeing with, snapped at me. It is not about right or wrong. It is, do you understand? Slightly stunned, I leaned back in my chair sheepishly as Ali stared at me with sobering vengeance. At last, Amado, whose side I was against, looked at me and asked, "Do you understand that?" I did, yeah. I said, "I do, I'm sorry." To which Amado said, just as sharply as still holding my gaze, said, You better be different, not sorry. The whole object of this is this. They were not trying to win arguments of right or wrong. They were trying to understand each other. That's the difference. The difference is not about how we're different or who's right or wrong, but we take that position whenever we get into conversations. I have a cousin. His name is Ryan Christensen. Actually, he's my second cousin. About 20 years ago in 2008, Ryan started a business, started an idea, and the idea was called Same Underneath. And the whole premise of, he wrote a thesis in college and wanted to teach a curriculum and everything on this whole idea that we're the same underneath. That was his logo, and his mission statement was, despite race, religion, economic, and or political differences, we are all same underneath. Ryan's brand was carried and supported by Minnie Driver, Nelly Furtado, Chuck D of Public Enemy, Michael Franti, Martin Scorsese, Jennifer Aniston, John Mayer, Common, Nordstrom's, Equinox, Anthropology, Macy's, and Fred Siegel's. It's amazing. He had this idea, which was his conviction, of something as simple as we're all the same underneath. And he eventually sold that brand, and he told me, I was talking to him a couple of days ago, and he's like, ironically, I sold the brand some years ago. In 2016, the companies in the stores and that were buying his product contacted him. It had been some time, and they contacted him and said, we want to put the product back in our stores. We think it's relevant for today. He's like, well, I already sold it. I can't do anything about it, but I appreciate that. Recently, Unity came out. Amber had been talking about this, about Unity's resolution on diversity, equality, and inclusion. And I'm not going to read the whole thing. I would encourage you, if you have not read it, if you have not looked at it, take a look at it. It's extremely important. But what it shows to me, we can get into the specifics of it. Unity Worldwide Ministry stands for, we are opposed to racial hatred, racial violence, bias, systematic racism. We stand for diversity, equality, inclusion for people who are marginalized because of color. Unity chooses to be more aware and take positive action, raise awareness. Okay? This is part of Unity's values. And so in their values, they've made a change. They've made a shift. They've made a more of a priority to say, this is important because of what's going on in our community and our culture today. There's more to it. Again, in the essence of time, I'm not going to read through it, but I would highly recommend you get it. It's a one page. It was sitting in the library there. But to me, it's again, stating what our values are and looking for the ways that we are the same, not looking at our differences. Last week, David's message was about how do I get to Carnegie Hall? And the response was practice, 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 right? What occurred to me was the tools, we have tools. Every week someone is up here talking about tools that we can use. There's tools in which we read, things that we learn. Those are all tools, all things that are available to us to practice what we want to, practice what we want to preach, I guess. But there's many forms to do that. I keep coming back to this. I told you from the very beginning, from my first visit to Unity, this statement, this mission statement, made a tremendous impact on my life because I could completely, wholeheartedly embrace it. Transforming lives and inspiring others to make a positive difference in our world. Think about this. Transforming lives. That's my responsibility. Transforming me. Inspiring people. That's you. To make a positive difference in our world. That's us. Right? That's how we come together. That's how we move forward. That's how we make a difference in this world. And if it's just a matter of making a difference of one person at a time, that's what it is. Tell you a short story. A couple of weeks ago, I was working a parking lot. Long story short, the booth that I was in was next to a kettle corn guy. And the guy was very aggressive, wanted to know where my bumper stickers were, wanted to know who I voted for president was, and he was nice, but I have a rule. I don't engage in those conversations. I try to engage on a different level because I don't want to get into this. I want to come alongside someone and engage with them. So throughout the course of it, he would come over and make a comment, and he would say something, and there were some very disturbing comments he made. At one point I was like, do I need to be worried? I never talked about my political beliefs or anything. I would just kind of chuckle with him, and he would say, he'd always end everything, there's no hope for me. There's no hope for me. And as he walked away, I was like, I have hope in you. I see hope in you because I see your humanity, right? So we keep having this banter back and forth, and at one point, after I asked him about his truck and I asked him about his family, and I just started finding ways to connect with this man other than what he wanted to connect on. By the time it was all over, near the end of our time there, he approached me and tried to engage me, and I said, here's the deal. I'm an idealist. I'm one of those guys that just wants the world to be ideal, and everybody's got their thing that they believe in, and everybody's got the thing that they're passionate about. But I truly believe that we can move past these things. And call me pie in the sky, unicorns and butterflies, but I truly believe that we are better and that we're going to move past this, right? Now, if I had made that comment to him at the very beginning of our discussion, it'd have been war. He would have, some of the things he had said, I'm sure he would have come at me. But I waited to gain dialogue with him. I waited and gained respect and a rapport with him. And when I made that comment to him, he patted me on the back. And he's like, you just keep dreaming, kid. I was flattered that he called me kid. But the bottom line is, once we gained respect for one another, and he saw the humanity in me, and I saw the humanity in him, we had something that we could grow a relationship on. And it doesn't mean that we have to agree on every single thing. It just means we have a starting point that we can start talking and moving forward. We can find things that divide us every single day if we want to. But how hard are we looking for things that actually unite us and bring us together? So I told you about my rules of engagement. These are my rules. And I wanted to share them with you because I feel like some of us need something, right? Some of those you may recognize. I look at it and say, what's my goal? What's my end game with this in this situation? And my end game is always the same. It's about relationships. It's always about relationships. That's my end game. So my commitment to understand, to be impeccable with your words, positive, understanding language, no name calling, no yelling to make a point, keep my passion in check. Now, I'll be honest with you, family, I have not always been good at that. I have struggled with it because I do get passionate about the things I believe in, but I have been able to tone it down to where I avoid the name calling and avoid all of the other stuff that doesn't serve anything. It just adds fuel to the fire. Don't take anything personally. For those of you who don't recognize, these are pieces out of the 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Don't take everything personally. You know, when the guy was coming over, the popcorn guy was coming over, and the things he was saying, I wasn't taking it personally. I know who I am. I know what my values are. I know that he's not attacking me. He's just responding to the things that trigger him and fire him. Don't make assumptions. Listen to understand. Ask questions and clarify. Be slow to speak. Be compassionate and empathetic. Verify your understanding. This is a great way to just try to understand what someone is really wanting to say and that kind of thing. The other thing is you don't need to be right. And it doesn't make you wrong if you're not right. It just means that's your position. And your position is based on your values. And as I've said before in my previous talk, if you're secure in your values, right? When the barbs come, I'm going to be like Bruce Lee. I'm going to deflect those barbs because they don't touch me. They're not me. I know who I am. So they don't have to be something that I take personally, right? Give yourself grace. Give the other person grace and mercy. And then, at minimum, base your relationships on what you can agree on. At the very minimum. We're human. We're same underneath. We're all just trying to get through this world one day at a time, one moment at a time, one relationship at a time. So my question for you is, what's your preamble? What do you want to change? Why do you want to change it? What can you say is different about your life today? What's changed? What's your truth, your authenticity? How can you honor yourself? When you go back to your values. In our book group, I threw out a challenge to our group, like even though we're in the Matthew McConaughey book and he talked about values, let's throw out a challenge. Let's go back and understand what our values are. And a lot of us don't know, and that's okay. You do know, you just haven't put language to them. But once you put the language to them, then you're like, yeah, that's my value. Being kind, that's my value. Being respectful, that's my value. And you can stay strong in that. And when you are pushed, or you're, when you get into those aggressive situations, you know who you are. What's new in your life? Is there a new direction or a pivot? Doesn't mean you're wrong. It just means you're making changes. And those changes are what inspire others. I say that I'm nobody special. I haven't, a little bit of college, not much. I've never been a pastor. I've never been a preacher. I've never been a speaker. This has been the only opportunity I've ever really had to come up and share my heart. And I thank you for that, and I honor that. But each of us have people in our lives that we have the opportunity to inspire. Inspire them with our actions, inspire them with our words, inspire them with just our presence. So with that, I thank you. I honor you. I hope I did good on time. Good. Anyways, I thank you again for this opportunity. And what I'm going to do next is we're going to do a meditation. And one of the tools that I learned back in the day when we were doing hockey when I was learning my hockey training and that sort of thing, is we would do visualization. And the whole idea of the visualization was to sit, and one of the most important things you had as an official, the most important thing you had in the game was your first call. The very first call you made in a game set not only the tone of the game, but also the players, if they didn't know who you are, they knew by that call you made who you were, right? And so it was very important to start the game on the right foot. And so we would do this visualization. What do I want the game to look like? What do I want my first call to look like? So we'd do this visualization. I used that later in life, and when I had my business and did contract work and that sort of thing of, okay, I'm going through this process of, okay, I'm going to be installing cabinets today, and I got to have shims, and I got to have, I need caulk, so I got to go to the store and get caulk. And I would write, and I would visualize what I wanted the whole job to look like. It not only helped me understand and prepare for the job, but also helped me see what it was what I wanted it to look like, right? So I'm going to take us through a meditation, and my meditation today is simply about visualizing what your day looks like. What do your encounters look like? So I'm going to take a seat, and I'm going to ask that you all plant your feet firmly on the floor. Take 4 deep breaths. When we conclude our time together, we're all going to be going our separate ways. And the first thing we're going to notice is the heat of the sun, and opening our car doors and feeling that rush of heat. The glorious heat. If it wasn't for the sun and the light that it provides. We start our car, we turn on the air conditioning, and we feel that rush of cool air. And we can appreciate man's ingenuity, the creativity that is given us by God and Spirit to dream and create such things. We drive away, think about the things that we want to accomplish today. Maybe there's a family gathering we're going to. Maybe there's a habit you have of every church or every day, every week after church, you go to a restaurant. You pull up in front of that restaurant and they're closed because it's a holiday. And as disappointed you may feel, be happy for the people that normally work there, that they actually get a day off to be with their families. If you have a favorite server at that place, say their name. Wish them well. Think about how your plans are going to change and adjust, pivot. Maybe it's a trip to Home Depot or Lowe's or garden store to get some flowers that you want to plant. You load up your cart. You notice in the next aisle over, there's a woman with 3 children. She's not having a good day. She's hot. Kids are cranky. She's just trying to get things accomplished. What can you do to help her today? What can you do that's just a little bit out of your way to show kindness, compassion, and empathy? Maybe it's a smile. You go to the checkout, and there's a lady there under a big fan. She's hot and sweaty. She's got a mask on. What do you notice about her? Her name is Jinya. Jinya, is that short for Virginia? It was a nickname my dad gave me. It's always been special to me. Thank you for working today. Appreciate the fact that you're here today and not with your family. Thank you for that. What else can you do today? What other acts of kindness, of service, of compassion can you demonstrate? How can you inspire someone else today? Everybody that we come in contact with is part of our world, is part of our community. We may not be able to have an impact on someone in a different city or state or country, but we can certainly have an impact on the person in front of us, beside us. Can you let go of what's troubling you today and embrace someone else's humanity, someone else's difference? Maybe it's a hair color or a style. Maybe it's a tattoo. These are all things that make us unique, different, and valuable. At the end of your day, you reflect back on all that happened. Just take a couple of minutes. Think about your encounters. Think about how they might impact your day, impact your life. Be grateful for those moments, visits, encounters. Wish them all well. Wish yourself well. And commit to rise to be even better the next day. Take 2 deep breaths. Slowly open your eyes and come back to this room. And remember all around you. Thank you, friends.
I was waiting for the music to come on. Anyway, unity stands for peace in the presence of conflict, for love in the presence of hatred, for forgiveness in the presence of injury. Unity honors the many names for God, the many paths to God. For we know there is only one power, one presence, one life. So whoever you are and wherever you are on your spiritual journey of transformation, you are welcome here. If you are new to our ministry and are interested in learning more about unity or our speakers, workshops, and events, please sign up for our e-newsletter by texting Unity Spokane to 22828 or sign up on our website at unityspokane.org. We would also like to connect with you on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search Unity Spiritual Center to find us. So let's take a moment now to acknowledge and bless one another with a socially distant namaste greeting. Whether you're here in the sanctuary or at home, please feel free to stand up as you are able and send your conscious, loving energy to those around you. Now is our time to celebrate abundance together as we share our gifts and love offerings. For those of you feeling the divine call to financially support our ministry, you can drop your offering in the glass bowl in the back of the sanctuary. Another option is to text GIVE to 253-528-7416 or visit our website, unityspokane.org. Click the donate button at the top. We also want to acknowledge and thank all of our automatic givers who have kept this ministry afloat during these trying times of COVID-19. Thank you so much for your ongoing contributions. With that in mind, let us take a moment now to sink into our hearts and bring forth a feeling of gratitude as we say together our love offering blessing. Together, I know that my giving blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I give and receive. I give thanks for the abundance that is mine to share. So for our chaplains today, I only have first names here, Steve and Dave, who have, anybody know? Well, there's Steve right there. Okay. They've both been holding the service in prayer for us today, either here or at home. Probably Steve will be the one that will be available to pray with you immediately after the service if you feel if you feel the desire. You have something heavy on your heart or something joyful to share. They will be available at the front of the sanctuary following the peace song. We would like to encourage anyone who is in need of prayer support to please fill out a prayer request. There's God again, huh? A prayer request form found on the table as you enter the sanctuary, or you can submit your request through our online form. Simply go to unityspokane.org and click on the Contact Us button on the main page, and you will be taken to a prayer request. Names are added to our prayer list and are prayed for over 30 days by both our prayer minister as well as sent on to Silent Unity. I just wanted to say a special thank you to Jeff. I enjoyed so much your talk, and I love the way you put it all together and even got the Constitution and all that in there. It wasn't scripted, so I totally forgot, sorry. So now it's time to welcome our children. Are there children? There's no children today, so we will just send a prayer of light to our kids. Okay, well, let's do it. Let's not. Let's do it for all of us. Be the love you are. Sing the song you hear. Share your joy of life with people far and near. And for ourselves, be the love we are. Sing the song we hear. Share our joy of life with people far and near. So now the prayer for protection. Please stand as you are able and join together for our closing prayer for protection, followed by the peace song. Together we affirm, the light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are,